guys. This is High Priestess Jamila, and I wanted to come and speak a little bit about my past life as Kate Barker. So, welcome. I'm just sitting here. I'm giving you guys a couple of minutes because this is a live. Welcome to the channel. Make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, and if you need a psychic reading or other spiritual ritual work, the link to my all of my links are below. Okay. Give y'all a couple of minutes to get in here. Hello, chat. Chat, let me share this. Just bear with me for one moment. I like to put I'm live right now so people can know. All right. So I appreciate the love and the and the positive energy as I speak to you guys about past lives and my connection and not connection, but I believe, and if people don't want to believe in that kind of stuff, I mean, people will say that they believe in stuff, but then when they sort of see it right in front of them, they don't want to believe it, and it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't hurt me anyway. I just still wanted to speak about some of the experiences and actually what is going on right now, which is a lot of paranormal activity, even involving Ma Barker, and then my lifetime after hers, the one that because I do believe in past lives. I do believe that people are reborn, and I do believe in all of that stuff. Okay. So if you have a strong suspicion that you were someone in your previous life, then more than likely, you may be right. And, I realize that with famous people, there's like one person saying that they were them in the past life. There can be thousands, and that's okay too. That's perfectly okay too, honestly, because it all ties in together, within our consciousness. Okay. Um, Trying to think of when was the first time I ever heard about Kate Barker. I'm trying to think. I know that it was well over 10 years ago. Well over 10 years ago. And then suddenly I began to suffer from this persecution out of nowhere. I didn't understand it. I was like, why am I being persecuted? And I knew that I hadn't ever done anything in this lifetime to deserve to be persecuted, but they say that you forget. There was a spirit earlier telling me that you're not supposed to remember, but I think that if people are remembering their past lives, and even when you start having past life regressions and transgressions. Okay. Now, Kate Barker was actually born in Ash Grove, Missouri, in a small town in Missouri in, I think, what was it, 1881. And she was murdered by the police actually in 1935. Now, first of all, what I want to tell you is that I don't believe that Ma Barker is dead. And, but that's not to say that she staged her death. Wow, a face just came through the fireplace to me. That is crazy. Guys, I looked up and all of a sudden it was a face staring at me from the stone in my fireplace. It's so weird. Actually, two of them. I'll show it to you in a minute. I'll probably have to read. This is crazy how they just all of a sudden popped up. Okay, I gotta show y'all this. I gotta show y'all. Y'all see those two faces? They all of a sudden popped out in that fireplace. That is so strange. Anyway, as soon as I had said what I said, I don't think that I really need to do much explaining, but what I will tell you is that because okay, when you are somebody from a previous life or a previous time, it's not like you're talking to that spirit. You are that person. You know what I'm saying? And so, especially some of my past life thoughts, um, during that time that Kate existed, there was a lot of poverty, and she was born into poverty, and it was also the depression and war and a lot of stuff that was going on during that time, and families of people being affected even by our government. So she was an outlaw. You know what I'm saying? She, in a lot of ways, she feels that she's not as demonic as your government is how she feels. You know what I'm saying? Just like low key, but it's very possible for you to be an extremely bad person or either perceived as being a bad person. Okay? In the previous life, you can be perceived as being you, or you can be a bad person. You know what I'm saying? But you can actually be a good person in the next lifetime. Okay, so that's why I don't allow the persecution and the judgment to get to me. So pretty much what happened was that just a lot of what I connect to is a lot of broken promises, a lot of disappointment. Missouri back then was very, very racist. So we're not even really going to get into that, to be honest with you, because, she didn't hurt no black people. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, she was, I mean, when you think about our government back then, and I mean, she feels as a scapegoat because, that was back when it was lynchings and hangings and stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that it was cool that Kate became famous. Of course, she was a notorious gangster, and she was gangster. There's a lot of people that don't appreciate them painting her as like this badass, but she really honestly was. And the reason why is because of the corruptness of, you know, but at the end of the day, the way she feels is that if she could have done it differently, she would have. Okay, so it's not like she doesn't understand, because I've watched quite a few documentaries on Ma Barker, and people speculate, based upon whatever they feel, but in reality, she did want to be good, but she just couldn't stand being poor. In fact, there was a lot of times, growing up when, she went hungry sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And that can really have an effect, especially when, poverty within itself, in my opinion, is a mistake. So, I feel that it's unfair for anybody to grow up in poverty. So she committed a lot of crimes in the Midwest, or her sons did, and she ended up moving and changing her identity and actually moving over to Florida because she was actually wanted. She was public enemy number one, her and her sons. And she went to Florida and, was basically retired. This she was She was elderly, by the time, and she was born in said, oh, I think it was 1870. You guys have to look that up for me because I had just looked it up, but the it's a lot that I could say, you know. She was only 5'2". You know what I'm saying? And part of that was probably from malnourishment. Even though she was a short woman, she was gonna be a short woman, but for her to be only 5'2", you know what I'm saying? She was little. And but she had this belly, and it kind of reminds you of when somebody is malnourished, because a lot of people probably look at her pictures and they wonder why was her stomach descended like that. And it's so when you're malnourished, your body does suffer, but the spirit, okay. So and so anyway, she moved to Florida. She was right at the lake, in Florida, which is one of the connections, like, you can really tell, because I've always had a strong draw towards water as well. And she wasn't a water sign, she was actually a Libra, born October the 8th. Um, but I think that people can misunderstand, but then people also take for granted what poverty actually does to people. And so that's why you have these people that do things like that because that's all that they know. So but anyway, going back to the persecution that I suffered from, because I kept wondering, the closer I got, like the further I got away from Missouri, the persecution got worse. And I just kept wondering, what in the, like, I was completely sleep on it all. I had no idea that I was having these it wasn't it was this persecution that was coming through spirit, because people like to condemn. And so there's people that obviously still hate her. For example, they described her children as sons of the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people were just ruthless. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew that I had a huge, I had an idea of what I was dealing with, because I knew that it was coming from a past life, but I just didn't understand what past life. And then I stumbled across her picture, and looking at her, she favors, and few people probably ain't gonna like this, but she actually favors my great grandmother on my father's side, which is so weird. Like, there's pictures of her where it just kind of, they have like this uncanny resemblance. But um past life resonances and past life stuff can be really heavy, which is why I always tell people, when you're dealing with the supernatural world, please show respect for what you're dealing with. Because I was listening to a young lady doing a reading on me, and just to let you guys know also that, yes, Kate was a witch as well. Okay, and I'm not gonna get into her witchy side or whatever, but she had there was certain things that she did that were very witchy. You know what I'm saying? Like, she kept her feet clean. It was certain stuff about her, and she really was very loving to her children. She never let anybody mess with her kids, but it was a bit extreme, because it was. But again, when you're starving and you're hungry, you're going to do what you got to do to make it happen. And so back then, it was the reason why a lot of those types of crimes were being committed, because bank robbery and kidnapping, those are capital crimes, right? Those are pretty Those are pretty ruthless crimes, because hold on a second, guys. Now, let me tell y'all something that's even more interesting. Many of us are living in a we're having multiple past life resonances. Multiple. Okay? So I believe that my past life resonances with Kate came while I was pregnant with Jacob, actually. What's this? Okay. So sorry, guys. I'm gonna have me a little glass of wine. Ain't it after 5? Yep, it's 6:53. I'm perfectly good. Can y'all hit the thumbs up, please? Hello, Nova America and Tehran Hearing. Hello. So there was a young lady that was doing a reading on me, and she was like, "Oh God, I felt something." She was saying that I had something heavy on my chest. Now, this is where I want y'all to learn something right now about this, especially if you watching this. You need to be careful sticking your spiritual nose in other people's business, because what you caught, that's not good. If you do a reading on somebody and then you start feeling all that stuff happening to you, it's probably their spirits attacking you. Either that or you're tapping into energies that you really don't understand. Now, when you have past life, transgressions or regressions or resonances is what I call it. When your past life, it's like a resin. It's like an imprint of that. You can go through certain things. For example, a lot of times when people are killed violently, their spirit relives that moment. It does. And this has been recorded by most paranormal people, people that study the paranormal, okay, which, she was into as well. It just did nobody know it, because back then she would have gotten hung as a witch, but she was hung anyway, basically because her and her son was murdered, at the end of their lives. So, um, I had been having a past life experience. That's why you got to be careful. That's why I don't mess with people. The reason why is because you never know what their spirit is going to do. Now, first of all, I am very healthy. All I have is allergies. This person said that they did a reading on me today, and something said your chest is heavy. And actually, my chest is not heavy, but what you were feeling was past life resonance, because in my previous life, Kate Barker was shot in the head and the chest. And it's funny how you tapped into that on the day that because I was up this morning taking a spiritual bath, cleansing and clearing myself. Okay. And, it's not that you actually feel it, but it's more so that you're picking up on it. So, yeah, you know, um, you know, dying in that way can be extremely traumatic. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, I'm back. So I was having my own personal past life stuff last night. Sometimes when you up all night, it's time for you to explore self and maybe not so much other people. But last night was it was April the 14th, but April the 13th was yesterday. So yesterday I was actually having some past life resonances of how I died in my previous life. So that's what you felt. That's why you have to be careful. tapping in. Now, um, it's a lot more complicated than what you think. But I can tell you this is that, if you're doing a paranormal investigation, find out what it is exactly that you're investigating. And, because a lot of people, they want to be psychic and they want to be in the supernatural world. But when they tap into it, it scares them. And, they want to get angry at the people that they're tapping into. And then also, there's racism and stuff. But I can promise you that all of the deities do protect and guide even white people. So a lot of y'all, have that racism thing going on. And, you just have no idea how many, people that are Caucasian or not like that, but yet you hate them anyway, which makes no sense. So, that to me is kind of like, for you to say that, for you to say that a deity doesn't, I see a lot of people saying that all the time, but I can promise you that you're wrong, because I've had a couple of lifetimes that I've done bad things. And I can honestly tell you that every single time you always have a choice. Most of the time you have a choice. You make a conscious decision to be who you want to be in that lifetime. So, even people that are having past life, transgressions or regressions having to do with slavery and race, racism and, all of that stuff, if you're a white person, you have the right to live your life today. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has the right to tell you that you have to suffer for what either your ancestors did or maybe even what you did in a previous life. And that's what I do know, because I've constantly had persecution. And then especially when I got into the spiritual world, people were trying to, insinuate all this stuff. And it's like, well, you haven't even, cracked the shell of the egg yet. And so you make up your own things based upon your own knowledge, based upon what you know. But again, I don't have a heavy chest, but last night I was going through a past life regression. And when you're going through that, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what to do when you're going through that, because, in a previous life, when I was this person, and for some reason I'm connected with my last few past lives. So it's not just that one that I'm dealing with. It's a few others, you know what I'm saying? And it is what it is, and, but when I was connecting last night, see, I'm over here doing my own spiritual work that has to do with me. And then, you just go tapping into people's energy, and then you say, oh my God, there's something on this woman said that she felt something in her throat and in her chest. Well, first of all, that may have been my spirits. But another thing, and because that was my spirits last night, because I was having a past life regression of being shot in the head and in the chest. And that's why you need to be careful when you are doing divination and when you are, tapping into other people's energy. You may get hit with something. That's why you need to be careful. That's why you need to quit trying to steal people's energy. Do I have to sit up here and deal with people doing that to me? No, because I've already paid back. So I don't owe nobody anything for this past life that I'm talking about. I owe it to my family and my children. That's who I owe it to, but I don't owe it to anyone else. White people can practice voodoo if they want. That's bullshit. That's total bullshit, and it just further shows the racism. So only a scared person would say something like that. You'd have to be scared. This is the reason why I have black as well as white coven members. Okay, people that are dear to me, people that I care about. So, and I've been connecting to, I've had several lifetimes where I was a white person. I've had several lifetimes, especially when I was Irish. So, I've had those experiences, and so maybe that's the reason why. But I think that there's some people that are either new or either they're just not tapped in that way. You know what I'm saying? But there is good that comes from that because it's all about transmuting that energy. Okay, because there's a lot of people that may have been bad people in their previous life, but they're good in this lifetime. So you can't sit up here and persecute somebody for that. And I know this for a fact because I've seen my own magic protect me and my spirits protect me from any kind of persecution because of that. Okay. Yeah, I think that you know what? I think that people forget about that. They're always, literally it's almost like a Scooby Doo investigation when, but you way off. You know what I'm saying? Like, she probably thought that she felt that heaviness on the chest area because of that. And I don't feel heavy in my chest area. That's a lie. But I was feeling it last night, which is why you need to be careful because that was a spirit that I was battling with. Now you're going to have to battle with that spirit because you don't know how to mind your own business. And it was the spirit of death, of dying, of being shot in the chest. That's just like with Gabriel Fernandez. Um, he's manifested himself. Sometimes when I would tap into his energy and what happened to him, my ribs would start hurting because when Gabriel passed on, he couldn't breathe. When he tried to breathe, it hurt. And that's not like you don't like I think that that's what a lot of people are not understanding is that you're getting past life stuff that's coming in and you're getting things that have happened to spirits, you know what I'm saying? But you're saying that you're in the supernatural world, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I wanted to mention this and talk about this because I'm actually going to go deeper into this, to be honest with you, about this. But I wanted to kind of speak about how, because I was listening and it's spirit. What are you getting so excited about spirit? Like we understand spirits. That's just but when she said it was something heavy on her chest, it's like, well, no, no. I had a few minutes of feeling that, but it's just a feeling. It's not something that's physical. It's spiritual. And there's a lot of people that are out here and they're trying to dabble into magic and you don't realize that you can get burnt. And you got burnt. That was not a good thing. Especially being that I'm not dead. I'm very much alive. And so basically, what the gist of it is that I feel like those particular spirits, they kick in and they will defend me, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, what are you doing up all night, trying to connect to my energy for anyway? Like that's kind of weird to me. Just randomly, you just randomly decided to do that. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so feel very, very peaceful now. Been feeling good. I took my spiritual bath last night. I got work that I got to get done for clients soon, so I'm preparing for ritual. And when I do that, typically typically for her to be able to tap into my energy like that energetically, and for her to actually, be correct, that does show that you do have some spiritual gifts. You got some kind of access to the etheric realm. However, your spirits are not protecting you from, because you just got involved in something that literally has nothing to do with you. It's my spiritual journey. Okay. And you got to be careful, and you have to show respect for these spirits. You disrespected my grandmother. Why would you disrespect a person that's dearly departed? What's wrong with these people? Part of being a necromancer is to respect the spirits. And and especially if you halfway believe in it, but then halfway you don't. Now that's very dangerous. You have to be careful. You know? So, um, if if you are connecting with your past life, a lot of the times those things are blessings in disguise, because it gives you an understanding of the spirit of the journey that you have been on. You know what I'm saying? And I can honestly say that I was narcissistic. I sure was. But see, you're connecting to my past self, the not even the one that I had prior to this one. You're connecting to that one. And then I also think that it's all about hatred and slavery and all that mess. The one thing that I can tell you about Kate is that, when she was supporting her sons while they were robbing banks and, kidnapping people, she just wanted her family to be safe. She just wanted her family to be happy and to have a home. And, everybody should have that. And are you going to tell her that she didn't deserve it? Well, the people that were telling her that she didn't deserve it, where are they at now? you know? And I knew that I was connected with something like that, because when people would come for me, because people would just I wasn't even provoking nobody, and people would come for me. That part of myself, because in that life people feared me, but in this life that's not what I want, and not even in the one that was prior to this one. So spirits do grow and spirits do change and people do get better. That's what you're supposed to do when you manifest yourself. And then also, you can say that they were bad people. Okay, you could say that, but what about the people that exploit and take advantage of ordinary citizens every single day? You don't pay no attention to that. So, this is the reason why she's so respected, is because of that. But see, that's something that you wouldn't understand, because, you come from a different perspective of it. To be honest with you, I've never really been accepted. Only recently, when I found my spiritual self, did I even feel accepted by the Black community. So that ought to tell you a lot. And, is that what you do? You just go and you attack people just because, you feel like, because of their race? That's really sad that the world is going through that in the year 2020. I can assure you that most people, you know, I don't know, there's a better way of living, is what I can tell you. Okay. And again, this is just one aspect, one lifetime that I'm talking about. Okay. And it is what it is, but my whole thing about it is this: either you're gonna be with the spirits and in spirit, or are you not? Which one are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Because this is like I just don't see how, first of all, I don't see how, what was I going to say about that? Because it's funny how people like to attack good people. You know what I'm saying? People love to do that. And so stop randomly trying to tap into people's energy. You know what I'm saying? Stop doing that. Start showing respect for the dead. Start showing respect for the craft. Start showing respect. Cause you have no idea what's going on. The spirits and the gods will look at you just like you the most ignorant person alive. I'm just keeping it real with you. Okay? So, we're going to talk more about past lives. If you guys would like a past life reading, I'm very good at doing past life regression and transgression work. Um, and also with, divination, seeing who you were in a previous life. You'd be surprised at who that is. And, what you're getting from it. What are you getting from it? You're getting the good and the bad, right? Exactly. So anyway, guys, that's really all I wanted to say. I'll come back a little bit later when I'm a little bit more clear, which will be when I get, because I'm not dealing with, but I'm working with clients right now on some pretty important cases I'm working right now. So, my energy has to go towards that. Aside of the fact that, you want to be careful reading some people, because I'm going to be honest with you, when you're reading some people, you don't know what spirits or what space and time that person might be in at that time. And then also, if you're not, properly calling in your spirits for protection, then you may catch some energy that you don't enjoy feeling. You may catch a feeling that you don't enjoy. Okay. Anyway, guys, y'all have a wonderful day. I've got to go. I wish I could stay longer. Love and light and lavender to you guys, and I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.